everybody. Welcome to Attitudes with Andy. My name is Andy and I'm singing. And today is a mini episode all about productivity and how to get stuff done. One of my favorite topics, if I do say so myself. So, first of all, let's break down something. I get quite a few assumptions made about me, which is that I am just always being productive and doing stuff because I guess there's a lot of content that comes out, but then I also have a job and all of this. People always assume that I'm just really productive, and I remember my sister just being like, are you just always doing stuff? The answer is no. You are wrong. False information. I am definitely not always doing stuff, and I'm definitely not always productive, and I definitely get stuck in scroll holes, and I 100% procrastinate. So let's just get that clear and out of the way. Now, what I do is every day I will ask, what is one thing I can do that will move the needle the most, okay? So, for example, today I had a meeting with our wonderful editor and social media manager of Attitudes with Andy. I had a meeting with her and I was delegating things to get done because having that meeting is obviously very productive because then I can delegate more work. Second of all is I was like, okay, I'm just going to bulk record some mini episodes, okay? And yeah, I'm not going to spend all day doing stuff, but this is the thing that's going to move the needle versus filling our days with stuff that makes us feel productive but doesn't actually have a compounding effect in the future, okay? So I've spoken about this before on the podcast, but if you haven't listened to the episode, I'm just going to rephrase. So you might fill your day with stuff like going to the gym, doing a grocery shop, catching up with a friend, and cleaning your whole house and doing the laundry, all of that stuff, right? That's great. And that is stuff that we do need to do. It's normal human stuff. However, that's not really moving the needle for anyone's life apart from yours. Like there's no kind of reward or outcome of that, okay? Versus if you were like, I'm going to record one podcast and make one reel to post on my Instagram, okay? Because the podcast other people can listen to, they might share your page. The reel, it might get a lot of views and therefore people will listen to more of your podcast, okay? So it's just choosing the task that's actually going to move the needle to get to where you want to go. So maybe you want to start a business, right? So instead of, doing all those things like, doing your washing and your laundry, please do that. Do that, but don't fill your days with that thinking you're productive when you're not doing anything to move the needle. Whereas looking up business ideas and then picking one and then slowly taking action, that's the needle moving thing. So every single day, if you can just ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do today that will move the needle in where I want to go, you'll get a lot more consistent action. And I always tell myself a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. Don't feel like you need to do a whole 12-hour day of doing work. If you can just get into the habit of just doing a little bit of something every single day, I promise you it will compound. And I look at all the things I've done and I'm like, how did I do that? And it's just because I've consistently taken action, okay? So yeah, that is the first thing that I would say. Second of all, for productivity hacks, let's talk about actually when you sit down to do work. First of all, we're going to sit down and do work when we have our bestest, most amount of energy. For me, as I've said, it's always in the morning, okay? So I will 100% be doing work in the morning, and in the afternoon, I would rather do stuff like going to the gym and doing food shop and all of that, because my brain is working the best in the morning. So pick the time when your energy is at its best. Second of all, we're going to eliminate distractions, okay? So I want your laptop to have no notifications popping up if you get a message. Obviously, we're turning our phone onto flight mode, and better yet, have it in the other room. You know, if you can have it in a different room, that would be even better, okay? Third of all, I use the old Pomodoro technique. This is literally just a timer you can Google on your computer, type in Pomodoro, and what's going to come up is the website, and it has a 25-minute timer. When I click go on that timer, I am doing the task at hand, whether it's going through emails, editing a podcast, whatever it is, I'm doing that. I'm not checking my phone. I'm not getting sidetracked with anything. I'm not procrastinating for 25 minutes. I'm hardcore focusing. This really helps when you're like, oh my God, I need to do work, but I'm not in the mood, and you're just procrastinating like no tomorrow. I just go, just do one Pomodoro. That's all you have to do today. Just do one. Then you get into the flow of things. And then the timer goes off, and then you set a 5-minute timer. And this is literally just time. If you do want to check your phone. But I like to maybe just go out in the sun, stretch, whatever it is for 5 minutes. And then you come back, you do the timer, you have the 5 minutes off. You do the 25 minutes on, you do the 5 minutes off, and you repeat that, okay? That is one of the biggest hacks ever, because a lot of the time we'll sit down and be like, I'm going to do 3 hours of work. Okay, but are you actually going to do 3 hours of like deep focus work? Or are you just going to keep checking your phone, quickly checking email, quickly check your Facebook, and then turns out you haven't actually done good quality work, okay? So I really, really highly recommend doing the Pomodoro technique, and there's actually science behind it, where after 25 minutes, your focus actually starts to go down. So it's better to have that 5-minute break. And then when you come back to it, you're going back into a good deep focus. So yeah, that's something I do. The next is I reward myself. Okay. So the reason maybe we like scrolling on Instagram and being on our phones and stuff is that it feels like a reward, like instant dopamine hits. So if you can make yourself get those kind of dopamine hits through doing productive things, that's really good. So I have pretty much all of my to-do lists online, but each day I have a notepad and I'll write down the things I need to get done. And then as I do it, I tick it off, and that's a good little hit of serotonin. We love to see, like our brain loves to see that we're making progress. Progress equals happiness. Thank you, Tony Robbins quote. So that is another good way. And then also just, like quite literally rewarding yourself. So I always go, if I do 6 Pomodoros, if I do 8 Pomodoros, so that's about 3 hours or 6 hours of work, I will go for an ocean swim, or I will take myself out for a coffee, or I'll do like a little small something for myself, so that then you are going to be rewarded for your work. I literally treat myself like a dog. I'm like, I'll give you a little treat if you do this. Okay. So that's another way of being productive. And I should have said this at the beginning when I said work in your most like efficient hour, whether you're a morning person or a night owl, but also just know your environment of where you work best. Okay. Like if I'm sitting in a room with dark windows and nothing around, like no, thank you. I'm not going to vibe with that. I also find I really don't like doing work at home because so many distractions. There's dogs, there's my bed, there's everything there. So I prefer not to do that. I'm really in my library era. I'm really enjoying that. So I like going to the library, and then sometimes I also like going to a cafe. And I also do like doing work with friends, because as long as you get them on the same page of doing the Pomodoro and you guys both genuinely have work to do instead of just distracting each other, it's actually a really good motivator, because I think we work a lot better when somebody is there watching, because otherwise you might procrastinate and not hold yourself accountable. So that is all the productivity hacks. Actually, wait, sorry, I have something to add, is make sure that you are taking breaks. So you can say like, I'm going to do the Pomodoro technique all day, but maybe after you've done like 2 or 3 hours of good Pomodoro work, go and have like an hour break, go for a walk, go get a snack or whatever, and then come back to it. So I think like taking breaks is also really good, and then your brain isn't like, my brain is fried. So yeah, those are my productivity hacks, but always remember, a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. And good and finished is better than perfect and not done. I don't know if that makes sense, but like if you have something that you wanted to get done on a certain date and you're like, yeah, it's pretty good, but it's not perfect, I think it's better to just have it done by that date and it be good than being a perfectionist and then just keep on like editing or whatever it is, and then it not being done but it being perfect. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, don't nitpick your work. Just good and done is better than perfect and not finished. Okay. And never posted or inconsistent or whatever. And yeah, it also just takes time to build up to being like really productive. We had Ricky Dan on the podcast. Ricky Dan on the podcast, and his days are way more productive than me. And if I decided tomorrow to have a day like his, my brain will probably be like, I'm dying. Whereas if you slowly build up to that, then that is really good. So just know that you will get better and better at being able to have these more deeper focused times. But if you're used to checking your phone every single like minute or something, yeah, it's going to take a bit of time and training. So just be patient with yourself and be kind. And I believe in you. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Feel free to come follow us on Instagram at Attitudes with Andy. I post a lot of Andiness there and also reels of cool people. You can click follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are on. And also feel free to leave a review. We have episodes every single Monday. Yay! And that's enough plugging for today. Thank you and good night or good day. Okay, bye.